we're meeting this afternoon with Chris Farlow, Mr. Chris Farlow, drama teacher extraordinaire. We're going to be talking to Chris about flipped learning, and we're going to talk to him a little bit as a case study, looking at what he's doing in drama, what the drama teachers will be doing to get ready for a bit of flipped classroom learning. Brian?
Yeah. So, Chris, why are you thinking about using flipped classroom model?
Well, I think for us, and like many of the creative arts and sports subjects, we really only get to see our classes 3 times a week. So it's really not a great deal of time. So in the sense that we really want to be able to get as much content imbued into the students as possible, it would really be advantageous to have that method to, put it out there online, the theory aspects particularly, and then be able to bring it together in a practical setting in the classroom, rather than splitting a classroom workshop into, a 20-minute tutorial and then having a 30-minute practical workshop following that, which is just, it's ludicrous. It doesn't work.
Mm. Yeah. So why now? Why not just continue what you've been doing? You've been reasonably successful, in the past. You've met the girls sort of where they're at. What advantages does this give you over your previous models of learning?
Yeah. Well, I think what we do now, it's not ineffective, but I think it's not the most effective thing we can be doing. And I think more than anything else, it's a time saver. And I really like that university format where it gives the girls the opportunity as well to access information independently first, especially because the first time we get the girls is in Year 9. So it means they're already at the age where they're starting to process information a little bit better, they can formulate their own questions, and I think inevitably they're going to get a better understanding from that, rather than having a very strict guided sort of approach. Because I find now really the girls ask a lot of questions, and I don't know if they really take as much away as if they were to access the information first, think of a few questions, and then ask those, in a little 10-minute tutorial, and then move into the practical.
So what types of things do you think you're going to have to do, or what types of things you're going to have to create or change to make this happen?
Well, I think obviously we're going to have to do a lot in terms of resourcing. I mean, most of our resources at the time being still using paper, so we're still destroying rainforests, which is a pity, let's be honest. But I think, so organising those digital resources, as I'm sure you're both aware, having begun flipped learning in your classrooms, it does take some time. So I think just gathering those resources is probably going to be the major part of it, and then putting them together or collating them in the form of a website with plenty of YouTube videos, different text documents and things of that nature. Hopefully all in one central hub for each unit as well. I wouldn't want to put it all into one central website. So have hyperlinks to the different units and things.
And how are you going to start? Like, is there a place that you think you're going to start? Is there a particular unit? Are there places in that unit maybe that you've identified that really lend themselves to flipping? How is it that you're going to begin this? Because it's a pretty big process to go through.
Yeah, it's a pretty massive task, but I think, like you said, we've kind of selected a unit to begin with, and we have a unit at the beginning of year 9, the second unit, I believe it is, called Theatre Histories, where the girls look at Greek theatre, medieval theatre, and a few other varying styles. I think upwards of 5 different theatre styles. And I think it really has that heavy element of a workshop idea where it's looking at the style, the different elements of that style, the acting attitudes, the characters typical of that style. So I think because it is so heavy on the theoretical content, it's good to split it up, really, and give us that accessibility there. So we've kind of identified that it's probably the best unit to begin with, and if it proves to be successful there, it's probably going to be successful with a few of our other theory-heavy topics.
So it really gives you opportunity, the kids an opportunity to practice what they're learning in the classroom, so they can focus on improv or Stanislavski method or whatever it is that you're actually doing, and get really good at that.
Absolutely, and even in extension, I mean, with that unit in particular, theatre history, it usually leads into our first semester examinations, the half-yearlies. So it even becomes a good resource for study as well, because the girls are asked questions about the various theatre styles. So it becomes a resource for multiple purposes, which is really good.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Chris, for being part of this little podcast with our Flip Learning. I hope it all goes well, and certainly I think the kids are going to benefit from having the additional practice in the practical, and also gives them a little bit more opportunity to be a bit more responsible for their own learning. So thank you.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
There you go, folks. Our first little podcast on our flipped learning and our first little flipped learning classroom.